One, two, three. Hey, you will make it TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the globe. Thank you for tuning in to another live segment with You Will Make It TV, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightfulness topics. Uh, Feel free to tune in anytime, any day, when you're not catching us actually live streaming. You can always tune in to previously recorded live streams. And what's great about You Will Make It TV inspirational topics is they do vary. And 9 times out of 10, find a commentary, reactionary video that will uh, spark your interest. You know what I mean? And we come here to spark interest in positive ways. Let me state that for the record. Uh, I am audio host Arthur Tetasheri Whitney. Upon some of the publications I do have out there, for those that are interested, you can look me up on the Amazon Kindle platform. And this is where you'll learn more about, previous publications I have put out there. But upon or amongst those that already exist, I am also actively working towards other projects now. It's so funny how just the journey or the door of becoming an author alone opened other doors or sparked other it at least intrigued me enough, you know what I mean, to see where that one path could lead us. Now, yes, you have those that write a book and then that's all they do for the rest of their life. That one book carries them through their life. And then others of us, we have multiple publications. And even with having multiple publications, it doesn't mean that you can't get into other work. It's really interesting, like that people had the old time perception that authors just do one thing. And it is funny because I feel like when I get back to writing, people will still be shocked. There will still be those that think, oh, she's a brand new author, when the whole time, since 2019, you had been having publications out there, not just books, but different writings, different forms of writings on different publication platforms. We'll talk more about that on another segment. I just thought that was funny. I said, who told people that just because you get off into authorship or self-publication a little bit, that you cannot not only write about other things, not one genre has to be the same either when you're an author. But most times when we get to know an author, we pretty much label them under one genre, like, oh, that's a horror writer, or that's a comedy fan story writer. Like, there's all kind of writers, and an author is not limited to just writing books. But I'm not teaching y'all nothing. I just think I brought that up because this is the point. There have been many authors already who come out and talk about their experiences, right? Not just with racism or discrimination, but also with specifically sundown towns. So I've seen that it's more of a trending topic. I don't think it's just because of people's experiences. I think it's because it's very real. Like, it still exists. You think that crime ridden neighborhoods are only labeled to a certain group of people, but it's not, because a crime ridden neighborhood is going to be a neighborhood that anywhere is ridden with crime, if you ask me. Today, this stream is just my commentary and reaction, my opinions. We don't come here to spark anything but interest and research, and influence people in a way where they learn things on their own before they just jump on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's now or the future, we can all work on ourselves in that way, where we are more researching, challenging ourselves to research areas of life that we might have just thought we knew it all about, because we don't. Especially when it comes to just different type of things: mental health, domestic violence, family life, parenting. No one person knows everything about all of those topics. Now, you have people that are more experience in the research and study. Those are the people that I am willing to, you know what I'm saying, to listen to. Those with experience and those that work in those professions that can help us to confirm that people have these real experiences, okay? So I'm not saying there's just one specific. Ask a person. Hey, ask a person that survived a sundown town that wasn't supposed to be there if there's just assistance out there for them after they do. That's the thing. They expect you just to know where you should and shouldn't be, right? Who am I saying when I say they? Well, let's start off with sundown towns. Most people feel like you should know that, even if it's another country. They feel like there's things you should know. You took it upon yourself to travel there. Tell me they're not going to put that accountability on you. Anytime you move to a place, and then you come out and, oh, this and that happened to me, people will assume that, I don't know why, they just look at the person like, why did you move there? Why did you go there? You can't go on any vacation these days. If something happened to you, that's the first thing people look at you like, well, why did you go there, right? It could be a cruise ship or an accident happened or some kind of Jamaican retreat, anything. I'm hearing all kind of stories. It don't have to be a sundown town. That's what I'm trying to make clear. I'm using sundown towns for example because I am going to talk about them and give my commentary and reaction about them. But why is it, even when you have an unfortunate circumstance in another country, because people go on vacation all the time, that's what tourism is about, okay? You still got people that come back with, everybody's going to have a different experience. You could have went to Vegas, I went to Vegas. That does not mean that we had the same experience when we went to Vegas, even if we go together. That's the thing. A person that's been to Vegas, they might know more how to navigate the place, what to watch out for, a person that goes for the first time, I would hope they have done some research. You don't just, oh, I'm going to Vegas, I'm on a trip, and feel like you can go down any corner strip, any club. Most of us know this, but I'm just saying, do people really know? Because you still have those stupid stories that are popping up on the news about unfortunate things that happen to families, or most commonly single individuals. When I say single, that means with kids or without kids. What's up with that? They go to a new place and let's say you go from Wisconsin to Virginia. It should be no problems. Like, that's your business. You want to go travel to Virginia, whether it's on vacation or you want to move there. I would just say, I'm using those two states for example. If you're a Wisconsin person, and you don't know much about Virginia, it would help you to research not just the history of Virginia, why Virginia's morals, principles, and laws are the way they are, what has Virginia gone through in history to get their laws and rights and the way it is today, and research the area that you're going to be visiting, or because I just feel like it's important for people to do that. It's one thing staying in an area that you didn't choose, right? Like where you grow up at. If children could choose where they are growing up at, y'all, where do you think any child would choose? That's this. I'm here to give an inspirational segment really quick about why some towns even exist, my opinion about them, and just how we need to look at this moving forward. Now, back to my question. If any child, if you ask them right now, not where you want to stay as the adult, not where you can afford, not where you think is the best, if you ask your children, where do y'all want to stay? Where do y'all think kids is going to say they want to stay? It's a rhetorical question. I mean, we know they want to stay with their parents and stay as close to their families as possible. But literally, if children could choose, they probably say they want to go stay somewhere that's close to Disneyland. Because, you got Florida, California, certain states that actually have a Disneyland there. I was just giving an example. They might say, well, let's go stay in the woods, because some kids like to camp. They like the outdoors. If they could, they would tell their mom to go move to a cabin and go out in the woods, and they do that. Other kids might say they want to stay by the ocean. You don't know where a kid wants to stay. So that's my point. No child ever has really dictated or chosen. That's where I feel like people have crossed the line, because I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about my opinion about this. No child actually chooses where they reside. I haven't met a kid yet told me their mom moved to Oklahoma because they said they want to move there. Or their dad moved to Japan, though he was an American, just because the child wanted to move there. You might have some of those special, you know, some kids probably do get that special privilege where they can tell their adult guardian or parent where they want to stay. But most times that's just not the case. Sorry, y'all, I'm back. I'm trying to turn this alarm off. Uh, okay, y'all. So back to what I was saying. No child gets to. Okay, so now we become adults. Where do most adults stay? Most adults usually just stay in their communities they were raised in. Am I wrong or right about this? Yeah. And then those that do end up branching off, we know the kids just end up branching off after high school, right? They might take a job in another state or go to college in another state, or they might sign some kind of deal or contract. Who knows? But there are different reasons that once after high school, kids begin to branch out there. Are we talking to our young people about the realities? Because people probably think I just chose sundown towns to talk about today. Nope, nope, nope. This is very intentional. Also, behind the scenes, when I'm not recording live, I actually talk to my children in real life about some of it. I don't have to talk to them about. They've traveled and experienced the life of traveling or living in different geographical territories with me to see how it is out here. And even they see that, yep, number one, every city is different. Every county is different. Every state is different. You know what I mean? And then depending on where you go, you're going to see different cultures of people. And now I don't know about other people out there. I didn't have to physically show my kids that, like by moving at all. I could have just stayed in the same place where I was born and raised too. Ain't that what most people do? They just stay there. And then now you have no problems. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody knows where the community market is. If you don't know where to get something, somebody knows where you can get it. I would say that's what you call a village. That's what you call a community. I mean, and that's what makes communities. But we must remind communities, everybody in your community was not born and raised there. And then where I'm from, even if you're not born and raised there, they consider parts of the country I'm from southern hospitality spots for a reason. They'll say, wow, it is so much southern hospitality down here. Notice I didn't name a state because there's more than the state that I'm from that have been labeled a state of, you know what I'm saying, that offers that southern hospitality. What did they think the word hospitality meant? Thank you to our new subscribers in the chat. We appreciate your support. Somebody said they just got banned from Roblox. I'm sorry to hear that. I was doing a Roblox topic the other day. For those that missed out on it, feel free to tune in to previously recorded segments. I'm still coming back with a part two about Roblox. I'm going to come back with a part two about Roblox. I'm sorry to hear that to my person in the chat that said they got banned. I told y'all they be banning people though. They do. And then it seemed like the accounts that really be acting up, they don't even notice them. But I'm not. This stream right here is not about that. I will be back for a part two because it seems like you guys did enjoy the Roblox topic. Okay. I have good things to say about Roblox too. We were just talking about how they've been more under fire. Like they just been more under the microscope, as with many other businesses lately. Because what are they allowing to go on? Period. So, most people stay where they were raised. That's what I left off saying, y'all. Do they not? I know some of y'all are in the same town you grew up in right now, and you don't plan on leaving, ever. I didn't say there's anything wrong with that. You Will Make It TV thinks that's beautiful because that is a sign of village, of tradition, of culture. Every time you see a group of people, just the generations continue to replenish that same place, That's what you call a village. If people are going to exhibit behaviors that no longer make our communities look like villages, but instead make them look like, because tribes and the concept of tribes are very real. TRIBES. Tribal lands, tribal people, tribal culture, everything to do with tribes. TRIBE. But if you start to make a community, I don't like that. Like, people gang up, like, oh, this our land. Like, if that's gonna be the case, we need to go back to tribal living. Period. Period. I mean, what place is really a person or community's land? There is levels to this. This is modern day America. Like, it's not your land. It's probably the government's land. It's probably somebody else's land. But people get so territorial. Like, that's crazy. That's why I don't think it's healthy for anybody to stay in just one place too long. Maybe they'll become too territorial of that place. The only part you should be territorial about is your home, and your lot of land that your home is on. Which, if you're in an apartment complex, the only thing that belongs to you is your apartment. Whatever your apartment number or letter is, if you stay in a duplex, it's still just your spot. You don't own that whole duplex. See, you have to remind people they're really not who they think they are. And I'm not even trying to be funny. You don't have the right to tell somebody they can't stay somewhere. It really, it's immature. It's very immature, knowing that you don't own the whole city. So since they don't be owning the whole cities, or they can tell people who can come or not, maybe they try to stay close to the city leaders, where they more have control of who stays or not. And it's like, why do people think in modern day time we don't know that part of it? That's what I'm starting to notice. Like, some of us in community, it's not that we don't care about community affairs. So, because you can't pay me to believe everybody in a community setting goes to all the city council meetings, goes to all the business meeting affairs, the school meetings. No one person is doing it, showing up to every single city meeting. Unless a person like that, I would say they do care about community. But I know people aren't doing it. As a matter of fact, they only start, that shouldn't, you see more people show up for community peoples to put people out of communities than you see them show up to actually help fix the communities. These days, something wrong with that. City council meetings, since when were they only about discussing who needs to be removed from the community? Unless you're talking about the real drama stars, crime people. And that's what's scary, really. Like, when it comes to community, if a bunch of people at any given time come together and just decide, like, yeah, we don't want this person here. And why do they do it like that? Just one person should come tell the person, hey, we don't want you here. Ain't that much simpler? That's all I'm saying. Like, one person relate a message for everybody. Hey, we don't think you belong in this town. Maybe they don't, because some of us are educated. You know what my response would be to that? Who are you to tell me where I can stay in a country of freedom, where you can choose? You can not only choose where you stay, you can choose where you go. Even when you sit in the house, some people think that's wrong. It's kind of like a social experiment almost to me, but it's my real life. Like, I noticed you could be sitting at home. You could do everything from home. Homeschool your kids, work from home, party at home, relax at home, cook at home. People will still have a problem because you are now recentering your life back around home. And to them, well, that person should be working. It's unbelievable, some of the things that people say is an excuse that somebody should be whole displaced, when homelessness is a whole crisis right now. We don't have time for that. Even in a sundown town, like, if a person got the money to pay their mortgage or their rent and have a sense of community with everybody else, they should be able to do that. I had never thought about it, but I said sundown town type communities though. It's real funny how they have all the regulations, laws, and stuff, tickets to hand out to people who are actually outside on the street. But why not? I bet you'll have less people on the street if you open up more of those sundown towns and put more shelters in them, put more, homeless advocacy programs and resources in them. It's like I can't believe this type of stuff is even still going on. But we're wondering why homelessness is. I knew it had to be more to it. If you are saying the economy is fine and all people got to do is go to work and that's the only contributing factor to homelessness, that wouldn't be true. When you still have places like sundown towns that exist. So most times these are described as mostly all white towns that do not allow they don't want to see a certain people out after dark. Ain't that weird? If you ride through these kind of towns supposedly after dark, they just anything goes, right? Now you ride the only difference I say between those and like neighborhoods that they claim are so full of crime, the only difference is the neighborhoods that are full of crime, they be there. I wouldn't say they're open about it, but it's like it's never been hidden. Like with sundown towns, it just seemed like they get away with more with what they hide on how they trying to put a person out of town. And I don't like that because they go and arrest the ones in the hood. If you're doing stuff too loud, or that's what I'm saying, it's like more open. It's like, oh, that's the hood. That's what they do there. Oh, okay. So what are they doing in sundown towns? And why, once again, is the homeless crisis the way it is? You still got towns that's reserved only for some people. That ain't even the housing yet. That's not even talking housing affairs a little bit. I was just wondering, is HUD aware of this? HUD and mortgage companies, bank companies, are they aware that you still have people out here working as communities to enforce trying to remove a person from a community just because they don't like whatever it is about the person, starting with the color of their skin. Now, a sundown town, it's always about that. They might ask you, are you lost? I remember going to one town, I literally got this question. They asked this all the time. They would say, do you know where you are? And when I was asked that question, I wouldn't say it was a sundown town, but it was something because they was like, do you know where you are? And I wasn't even intimidated. I just knew that I had never been asked it. Like where I'm from. And nobody, even if they had never seen me before, nobody ever asked me that. So I thought it was an interesting experience. Like, why we both adults standing here, and we might be different races, but why would you ask me if I'm lost or do I know where I am? Do I know where I am is an even more specific question. That's a more direct question. I don't know if it was supposed to intimidate me. I'm just saying it didn't. And I more showed that by the time length that I chose to stay there. No matter how many people ask me that question. And then I just make jokes because I'm that type of person too. Like, oh, do you know where you are? I think I'm in such and such. And they'd be like, no, do you know where you are? And then that's when conversations get interesting. Like, is there something I need to know? I'll be direct with them. You just assume I'm lost because you're not used to seeing black people around here. And shout out to the towns and communities that are working against those type of discriminations, because that's all it is. But you still got people asking homeless people one person at a time why they're homeless, as if discrimination, racism, just certain things don't exist anymore that actually contribute to people ending up in that situation. Yeah. Imagine going to a shelter. Why are you yeah, a town didn't like me. I had to leave my home type of deal. Or I was in a community that felt like people that do what I do as far as work, or people that have as many kids as I have, though they're single parents, maybe they didn't like my type. So yeah, here I am, Mr. Shelter. I'm here trying to figure out what I'm gonna do next. Like what? Like you think a shelter wants to hear that, let alone believe that? Yeah, so the ones that come in there with those type of stories, yeah, they're already kind of being worked against in a biased way because you got somebody in secret wondering, I don't think that that's the real reason why that person's homeless. It's so weird. And you do have some centers that are specifically advocates for that, right? They might help with victims. For example, y'all, like people with AIDS. I want to start there, like something that make most people cringe. People with AIDS are discriminated against. It's a whole thing. Y'all should actually listen to more of the survivor stories. There are so many advocates that come out and speak, because they're AIDS survivors, HIV survivors, but they do share their stories. And it's not just about the health part. They go through real things as like human beings. Like they deserve privacy, I guess. I would say they deserve it unless they're actually finna come be around people in another way. And y'all know what I mean. Like if you're finna intercourse with somebody or something like that, then yeah, you need to disclose that information. But other than that, I wouldn't say that they don't deserve privacy or some kind of confidentiality. Like I heard some of these people, once their status is known, right, they can't even come to the same communities anymore. They can't even live normal lives, and it's not because they're not humans. It's because somebody knows a detail about them that should have been confidential. Sometimes the detail ain't even true. That's what's crazy. But these are real survivors of HIV and AIDS that have been telling these stories about how, like, suddenly they own family, they own friends, their own communities just start treating them. And it becomes hard for them to really just try to get through their day-to-day activities like they normally would in a community, because everywhere they go, somebody's staring at them funny. Somebody probably uneducated about HIV. All they know is, oh, it could be spread through sexual intercourse, right? That person might be a good person. It don't take but one time to be infected, right? It don't take but one time, right? How you gonna say a person don't deserve to be a part of a community because they fell victim to some virus or some sickness? I can't with the world with their perceptions on things, as if these people ain't been coming out telling their survivor stories. And that's a whole nother ball game. That has nothing to do with sundown towns. They might be rejected from an apartment just because somebody heard their rumor. They might be rejected from a job just because somebody heard their health status. They might be rejected from a credit opportunity just because somebody exposed their health status. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that those people rejecting them are right. Because, like, if I have a company, which I do, it's small, but when I do start hiring help, there will never be a reason that, I won't be hosting interviews asking people what their health status is. I would just hope that they're in a status enough to work, honestly. Yeah, like what is the work at hand here? If it's a warehouse or something, why would I be worried about you should be concerned more about it, actually. I've never heard an employer in my life ask you in an interview, what's your blood type? What's your status? What's your sexual status? Like, huh? What does that have to do with the soft or hard skills I need to bring to the table for this job? And you got employers pretending like they're not doing it. Yeah, they be knowing people. It's already pretty much not a secret anymore that employers do kind of go look at people's social media pages and stuff like that. They'll do that before your interview. They have a right to too. I heard they're actually going to add other stuff where they can they can see more about you before you're even at the interview. You guys should really do your research. How the workforce has been changing lately. You don't have all these different people coming out talking about toxic work environments because they're lazy or they don't want money or they don't have goals or they don't have things they're trying to build or bills to pay. I thought that was a lazy thing to say that all them different people that are experiencing work toxic cultures are lying. I don't think so. Don't you know some people actually get paid to travel? They get paid. I know they get paid to travel, but they actually get paid to relocate to start a new position. To start a new position. I'm aware of this right now. Any given time, if I just, why just decide I want to move to New York? Why not apply for jobs before I even start looking for units, right? Now, when you got jobs calling back, they might ask, do you need relocation assistance? That's usually a whole part of an interview, a application question. I don't know if y'all be skipping that part. It literally, if you pay attention to your job applications, when you're just filling out the application, it might say, do you live within 50 miles of this employer, or do you have a transportation, or are you going to need relocation assistance? Because, yeah, who says you have to apply for a job just because it's right there in your county? Sometimes you're working from home for a business that's in 12 states over, but you live in Wyoming. But your job, the actual corporate headquarters, is in Florida. Yeah, it's like that for some people's lives. And I'm just glad I'm one of those that am aware of that type of flexibility. I think I used the right words to say what I'm trying to say. You got some people that's not even aware that, yeah, you don't have to live in a box a little bit. You don't have to stay in the same community just because you were raised there, but how many people are being taught that as they're raised there, right? Or why do you have most cities, the people that are there have been there. That's what I'm trying to say. Not just sundown towns, most cities. Most cities, if you're there, grandma was there and uncle was there and he was raised there and his uncle too. And that's where people describe, yeah, that's where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? That's my hometown. Woo woo woo. But you're never limited to that place. Right now you can research the average rent amount where you live. I don't care if you're in Nebraska, just look it up. Canada. You can actually look up the statistics, like what is the average rent price that people pay here. That's a whole thing right there that encourages some people to move, right? Because they might look at it for where they live and then start researching other places and be like, wow, they seem to pay a whole $1,000 less in Wyoming on average, or they seem to pay 500 less in right, Oregon. Random states like that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, that's where you will see they actually do pay cheaper rent. Those states that you just don't hear people every day saying, "Oh, I want to go there," right? Because it might snow a lot, or like rain a lot, or it might have mountains. It'd just be different reasons that some of these states, it's not a place you hear every day that people are just excited about moving to, right? But they could be excited about moving there if they know that rent is more affordable, right? Or there might be a specific something that state is more resourceful in. That's up to the person who's moving and who's researching it. But when they get there, that's where it's interesting. Why is it the places with the more affordable living range prices do have a lot of sundown towns? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's my opinion, and plus, according to my research, it's true. The big city like places, yes, they're more diverse, but you are gonna pay a pretty penny for that diversity, if that makes sense. Even just you being a low class person, y'all ain't heard people say being homeless is actually expensive. Just ask a homeless person, or ask somebody that's been through it. Did they calculate their budget? Did they calculate how much money they spent while they were homeless? Because I did, and I couldn't believe it. Still, no matter what you do, people still look at you as homeless, but they don't ask, like, let me see the receipts that you spent this week. while you were homeless? Were you repairing credit? Were you paying back debtors? Were you paying student loans? Did you have a car note? Because homeless is just homeless. You might have other bills to pay. And people need to catch up with modern day society. In modern day society, these are just facts. In modern day society, yeah, you can be homeless and still have bills. Let's say you're homeless. You might live out of a motel, a hotel room. That's now a bill, and that type of bill is due every day. People that pay for rooms to lodge or live in, they actually pay a deposit too, just like you would for a house or an apartment. They are required to pay a deposit just to get a hotel room. The only way you get that deposit back is if you leave the room in one piece, just as if you return the room just like they gave it to you. See what I mean? Um, but why would you not think that's more costly than just paying rent once a month? Plus, you don't have like a bigger storage refrigerator to keep your food items, so you might spend more on perishable goods. It's just crazy. Like, you actually do spend a lot of money homeless. So, for those that just think, well, why you need some money? I mean, look at them. They're outside. But you swear everybody asks for dollars and change that's homeless is a drug addict. Like, how is that not, thank you, God, for using me for this. Because, like, let's say you used to hang out with certain groups of people, or you just used to be more socially influential. Me, yeah. Until I saw that too about people. Like, you know what? Me and people really aren't the same. Because when it comes to where I'm looking at the causes of homelessness really be, the roots of it has nothing to do with the actually. Trump is right about that. Yeah, people could just go to work, but what is happening when people go to work? What's happening when they go move to certain towns? Look at, ask them what their experience was in a certain town. Yeah, because usually it's going to tell a story. That's crazy. You will know if a town or a community is working against you, because they might be like, how is a person able to see that? It ain't hard to see, bro. You would be in more control of the things in that area, the jobs, the stores, the community functions. A person that's from there, they might have more influence over that stuff. Let's be honest. You would have that advantage over somebody that's not from there. Period. That's one way that I feel like sundown towns or anything that resemble it is dangerous. Before we even talk about racism, you got people in a community who have known each other longer, which there's nothing wrong with that. That's community. But when you are using that type of influence to push somebody else out the community, now you got a problem. And now you're helping to contribute to the same homelessness crisis that you say you're so tired of seeing in this country. Oh my gosh. It's like, do they not see that? You got people moving away trying to start, I ain't gonna even say start a better life. Once again, people whole relocate for new careers every day. The new company just might be in Oregon. So was I moving there to make Oregon people uncomfortable, or was I moving there for a new job? Right? You just, of course, you have to stay somewhere. Why you, even when you start at a new employer, you're gonna have to either get you a place when you move there, or start off in a hotel room. Some companies even pay for the lodging. They pay for the travel. It's like, where are people's antennas about these facts? And you know, all you can start to do is make a traveler look like they're some type of scammer or they're some type of danger, because they're a free spirit. People say they believe in free spirits, right? You do know a free spirit may not work the same career for their whole life. A free spirit, y'all say y'all believe in it. A free spirit might not live in the same place their whole life, work at the same place, even do the same things every day. A free spirit is just that. They're open to anything as long as nobody's being harmed, and they not harming themselves. And to be honest, obviously sundown towns and places that resemble them do not like free spirits there. They're more the type of places that want everything to stay on the same system at the same time. Everybody know everybody. You know, you're not gonna survive in a place like that long. I'm not gonna say you're not gonna survive, but I'm gonna say without experiencing certain things or seeing what I'm talking about. If you didn't research the place before you go there. When I first got to this one small town, we even researched the percentages of black people that were there. I promise it said like 4% just in the one city I was in. I was like, oops, probably should have looked at that before I came out here. Not because I can't live diversely, not because I have a problem. Just ask me how many times I've been that person. Like, even if it's at a job, if it's at a school, if it's in a community, if it's just on one block, one building. I always tend to be in those type of situations where, yep, I'm the only black person. Or it's very few of us, right? And then I promise, anytime we try to come together as community, it got to be some type of agenda on the other side. But when they come together as community, it just seems to be the same thing, just to flex power. Like, yeah, we can get you put out this town if we want to. Like, oh, okay, that's nice to know about you. Time to move on with my day. And they hate that you have that kind of attitude. Like, I don't have to pay your old, outdated views on life any attention if I don't want to. But it is kind of hard to miss. Like, we're so in modern day time. How is this even still possible? Like, people moving in that way. Moving, we understand. People move every day. You can't want people to want to stay in crime-ridden communities. You fix and clean up the communities, or you don't. But to sit there and try to force people to stay trapped in those type of cycles is crazy. So yeah, they might look at a sundown town and say, "Oh, this is a nice town," but that's why the sun up, right? They don't know what you were. That's why I say when they used to ask me, "Do you know where you at?" I said, I tell them, I might not know where I'm at, but it can't be much worse than where I'm from. And they thought you was playing. Where I'm from, it was actually one of the top 10 murder capital cities. Yeah, I think from 89 to like 92. It was many cities like that back in the 80s and 90s. Like, they just had streaks of violence, like high rates of violence, like as Chicago, as New York. They've had streaks that they have made the top 10 most dangerous cities before. I'm just saying, I am from one of them. I wouldn't say it was dangerous because I I'm the reason. If it was a dangerous city, whether I was born or not, it was going to be that. But I was just saying, why would you consider a hood type area more dangerous than a sundown town when you know sundown towns still exist? I just don't think it should be allowed for any city or community not in the United States of America. People are still spoiled, ain't they? I felt like this was a positive topic to bring to You Will Make It TV because who knows how many people are out there surviving in these type of towns right now, these type of communities in these type of cities right now. Now, if it's not some type of tribal native land where unless you have your papers to be there, no other area should be doing it. I'm just speaking what's right, not what's popular, but what's right. Because all you do, you just have different cliques. Whether it's a clique, a gang, an area. Then y'all talking about what's contributing to homelessness. You got too many people telling people where they can and can't stay. That's number one problem, if you ask me. Literally, based off of how much money they make, what they do, who they related to, what? So now that's playing with a person's whole residential rights. A person can stay where they want to. Are they over the age of 18? They can go stay where they want to. They can also book travel and plan vacations as often or as frequently as they want to. Some people even do it as a career today. If they're not a travel agent, they may be some type of tourist guide, or they might be some type of a pilot or air fleet attendant. I used to be interested in doing that. I might do it in my latter years, like when my girls get older and they live in their lives, because it would just give me a reason to travel. But it's a lot of people could be doing that right now. I know that I have good social skills. I'm good with talking with people. I like to help people. But every time you get on a plane, you are putting your whole life at risk. So there are professions that I feel like all the things I want to do that are professions are life risk jobs, okay? Like each and every one of them, even when I come on here and do this on YouTube, it's just putting your life at risk every time you do it. Any type of reporter, it's the same thing. Any type of reporter, podcast, radio host, because you just never know who's going to have some type of weird opinion about what you said or promoted or marketed on your TV show. Truly, this is true. Then you have police officers. They put their life at risk every day. Firefighters. I was just saying, it's more than those civil jobs where people are putting their life at risk, like flight attendants. Most of them do survive their work every day, but yeah, if a plane just so happened to have an accident, then a life attendant, it shouldn't take that happening for you to know they put their life on the line every day. That's all I'm saying. And I just say when my daughters get older, that is something that I'll never be out of work. Long as airplane's still in service, I might even I might even go into that industry. You know what I'm saying? A person like me, you don't know what I'm gonna do next. Okay, ain't nothing wrong with being a free spirit either. Okay, so like I said, it seemed like Sundown town communities and places, they do not like. That's one thing I've learned. They do not like free spirited people. They don't like somebody coming there saying, hey, maybe we should do this and change this. They're going to look at you like, who the hell are you? It's a slight misunderstanding. I'm that one y'all might hear about years down the line that, you just came to new towns and you rub people wrong. First of all, you can't rub nobody wrong if you didn't even speak to nobody. Like, you didn't come there and ask nobody for nothing. You didn't come there just like advertising yourself. Or if you go to a new town, why can't you do that? Let's say you're a car detailer. You come to a sundown town, you start passing out your cards saying, look, I detail cars. All they can do is reject your service. That's still not going to change who you are as a car detailer. Maybe you have to go start traveling to other cities to meet the clients that are willing to work with you. But I think it's funny how one town think they can come together and just like stop a person's whole skills, talent, profession, future, success opportunities. Like, since when? And how many people are going through that? Is that the new agenda here? We just get a whole communities to work together to stop a person's success, bro? Well, those type of efforts are what led to civil rights movements in the history of America. I was just saying, why are we going backwards and not forward if we're really trying to make America great again? If we're trying to make America great again, no town, community, area should be working together to get one person out, one family, one person, or their children. See, they have a lot of sitcoms for those that do want to look more into the history of the reality of sundown towns. There's books out there about it. There's old published articles you might be able to find at the library, like literal stories of what happened to people just because they tried to go reside somewhere and start a new life. And I want to take a moment of silence for all of those that have fallen victim. This stream is like a reverence to them too, like a respect, a honor. And I just want to give a moment of silence. Like, it's people really not here today over that. They just wanted to move somewhere and start a new opportunity for themselves. And some of them never made it back home. But I do want the devil to know I won't be one of those. All of God's people have always been known to trap. Like, he don't have them working in a one spot. He might, depending on where your ministry is or what you do. It seemed like they have a problem with that. Oh, since we know that's God's child, no, that person shouldn't be able to travel, or that person shouldn't be able to live a normal life and just stay in their house and walk down the streets like everybody else. But I see what being quiet too long can turn into. You know what I'm saying? People just assume you're not aware. It's obvious, bro. It's gonna be more obvious to that person that's new in town if everybody in town is working against them, bro. How would you expect them to play stupid? They not even they not even from there. But we have lived in communities before, so you have a sense of community. You know that if you're minding your business, most times other people are minding their business. So why would suddenly every company in the community like, no, we not hiring, only when you walk in the door, and they expect you just to think that's coincidence? Them say, oh no, none of our lawyers are hiring either. If you're having an issue, all of us are busy. Every time I call y'all. But like I say, that would be a example of the whole community, the whole town working against one person. It's not hard. People make it like that's impossible to happen to somebody. And it's really crazy. Like, ask me, did I think I ever had these experiences before in life? I don't like it when people come together like that too, because uh, especially when they're white towns, because it's like, okay, so y'all can do everything else that comes to black culture. You can like our fashion, like our music, like our, and of course I'm not talking to the youth. I'm talking to full town communities. Like, youth are only live there because their parents are there, and youth are only raised and taught what their parents teach them. And then outside of that, it's just outside influence, whatever they're picking up on outside. I saw this one show. I forgot the name of it, but I liked how it showed in deep detail how, like, not only was the family like having these paranormal experiences in their home after they moved to an all white town, right? I forgot the name of this show. You can go look it up on Netflix right now. But they were experiencing just different weird stuff in their yard, same old stuff in their yard, harassment. This is why they at home. Why they at home? They might come outside just to go to work the next day, and it's some weird stuff in their yard or graffiti on their yard. Just these signs that show, hey, we don't want you here. But yeah, we would say that was normal back in the 40s, 50s, 30s, 60s, times like that. In modern day time, when I was seeing that type of stuff, I couldn't do nothing but laugh. Like, it was actually tickleable to me. Like, it tickled me. Like, am I supposed to be intimidated by this? Or am I finna get locked up for not being intimidated by these type of tactics? Yeah, and that's laughable. Because we know all communities have their first responders. They have their points of contact. They have their community resources. I was just saying, people that actually are already familiar with that in the area, they would have the influence to tell somebody not to help a new person or not. It's the whole new person. And it's sad. It's probably just like that too. They just be like, yeah, if you see this name, tell the person no. If this person asks for help, tell her no. We trying to get that person out the community. And you mean to tell me the community just falls in line? When I'm in a community, I like to, I ain't gonna say make myself known in that way, but when I need to, When I feel like my rights are being overstepped, I will. It's like at the remind the grocery stores, hey, I can show you on my card statement how much I've spent at your business establishment. Then they looking at you funny. They ain't never heard a black woman talk like that. I mean, actually stand up for themselves in that way. Like, hey, you do know maybe 2,000 of those dollars that went into the income for your business did come from me and my family. And then you go to the next business and you remind them too. And you go to the next business and you remind them too. I wouldn't care if it's the light company, the rent people, uh, where you get your hair and nails done, where you bought oil, car oil for your car. Any community I've been in, I know we for sure spent money. That's why they try to more divert it. Like, well, look at where this person has debt in this town. Okay, most people have debt. Like, let's be honest. Most people in the United States right now have some type of debt. Otherwise, you'll have more people walking around talking about they're financially free. They're not financially free. We're all just getting by. I'm sorry. I don't know who they thought they was fooling. So why would you think you finna go hang one person on the cross and say, look at her debt? Look at the debt that's been accumulated since she's been here. And then look at the debt that was accumulated since she's been there. And then look at the debt that's accumulated since she's been over there. One thing about debt, you don't just accumulate it in new places. Debt follows you. But they forget to mention that part. So it really doesn't matter where you accumulate the debt, in my opinion. Just know debt has always been known to follow people. You can move anywhere you want to. Since when did that mean your debt stops following you? When I say stalkers, I meant more like debt collectors first. You know what I mean? Like, they gonna find out where you at and send you some more notifications of what you owe them. If they find out your email or get your phone number, yep, that's a part of their job. They're called debt collectors. So I just think it's funny to, what else could you use to try to make a person look like, they're not stable when most Americans are not stable. That's the truth. That's really the truth. Most Americans are not stable. They're just getting by. Stable is all your debt is paid and you got a savings account and all of your bills are paid on time. That's stable to me. It doesn't matter. We know social media taught us that what we show or what we look like, most people are in debt. I'm never one of those falling for that. You got rappers and stuff in debt, celebrities in debt. But you got common people out here trying to make themselves look like they have less debt than the next person. And that's a reason why what they feel like a person should be held back from should be right. Because debt has always been known to follow a person. You don't follow debt. Who does that? Spend their whole life following their debt. It's the other way around. Debt follows us. So when they try to pull that card, like, oh, debt, I have to show them where I've paid. Because who accumulates debt, but they were never paying nothing to begin with? And then look at the goals that surrounded why that person gained that account. Most people don't just go open an account just to end up in debt, do they? Well, Arthur Tetasheri is not one of those people. Like, yeah, I'm just going to open a new credit card account today and let it go in debt. And then I'm opening up. Nobody does that to their self. Let's really stop and think about it. Like, who just intentionally, at the age I'm at, with all the experience I've had in life, with the things I've learned, maybe you could make me look like that back in my 20s, younger teen ages. They picked a bad age range to try to make me look like a specific thing, which is pretty much a person who just is accumulating debt for the fun of it. That's not my character, I know for sure, because I actually have business plans that are so prosperous. I've seen other people run off with them, literally. But don't worry, I have other ones. But it's worth me speaking on real quick. Like, I have business plans, like I said, that I have already seen other people try to put into play for themselves. So I know that they were prosperous or abundance was on the other side of some of the business plans that I come up with. So if I'm saying, so you telling me I'm just supposed to sit back and watch people run off with my business plans, but I'm just the type of person to just sit back and accumulate debt and not care about it and not call debit collectors about it, banks about it. Like, I'm just not doing nothing about it. How does that make sense? When I can actually show the blueprints of real investments, like if I had the money, real things that like real money would be made out of it, real legit money too. It's like that's the new form of slavery. I probably won't be the first one to say it, but most definitely debt is another form of slavery. And they could say all day long, well, you chose to be in debt. I don't think anybody chooses that. That's why it was funny that anybody tried to make me look like I just choose debt every day. When I got whole business plans I'm still trying to bring into fruition. You can't really do that sitting on debt longer and longer and longer and longer, right? Only somebody who would want you to do that intentionally would try to make you look like that. And it's sad, really. With kids, you might accumulate it a little bit, but you don't have to. I just saw a story of a lady. She had 6 kids, right? But this lady owned 3 businesses, guys. 3 businesses. You think she just had 6 kids? That's what be crazy. Like, they swear, you just had that many kids because there's nothing else you could do. But there's still black women out there proving right now with more than 5 and 4 kids that they can run whole businesses, and every one of their kids needs is met. For some reason, as soon as people see you with multiple kids, they staring at their shoes, they staring at their hair, and they're staring at these outside features that they believe tells them what kind of background your children come from. And it's just like a never ending cycle because the ones they look at that seem to have all the shoes, clothes, and fancy trinkets, um, they're automatically assumed like, oh, okay, that child is being very well taken care of. But now, them same kids that you say is being very well taken care of, go calculate their parents' debt. DEBT. Not EBT, DEBT. Because we all got that. Period. You probably just make too much to receive certain assistance. Once again, SNAP and stuff like that is though for low income. SNAP never meant you don't make an income. Medicaid never meant you don't make an income. It's just that you're in the low income range. They consider that based off of your household size. So yeah, you might receive $2,000 a month, but after you pay all your bills, what's left? And that's what they look at based off of low income or as far as your income range. That's why it was funny to hear people say, go get a job to all the EBT beneficiaries. Like, y'all do know they do work. It's actually required for you to submit work hours, training work hours. You submit this or you don't receive EBT and you don't receive cash assistance and you don't receive Medicaid. Y'all thought they was just out here passing it out to people? No, they have to submit a timesheet every month proving how they have been trying to get back to work. This could be receipts pertaining to gas, which even with those, I would try to explain. If you only receive $50 as a gas budget every month, one Uber trip might cost you $22. For me, yes, because, they want you to order the vehicles that are big enough to keep the car seat inside the car, because I'm going to have a car seat everywhere I go for a little while. Even in my own car, I'm going to have a car seat. If you transporting 4 kids, I ain't gonna say every day, but let's just say every day, and one trip is $22, that means it's $22 just to get back home. So in one day, you spent $40 just to go to work. I know all about it. But if you calculate 40 times 5, which is a whole working week, that is $200 versus you having your own car just spending maybe $60 a week to get to work. When it's on Uber, trust me, it's more like 200 because it's like $20 a trip depending on where your job is. But I could talk all about it. And it killed me to see in sundown town type communities, that's another thing they'll try to affect is your whole form of transportation. Whether that be doing something to your car, stealing your car, sticking tickets and notices on your car, so it makes it harder for you to go to work. I already said that tampering with somebody's car, which I know it's illegal. I'm just saying these seem to be the type of things they like to do once a person in a certain community is targeted. They want to control your transportation. They want to control how fast you can move and not move at any given time. Then they want to control the employers behind your life. If they can't control the employer, they'll try to control your pay somehow. They'll try to control your benefits. If they can't control your benefits or your employer or your pay, now let's look at our household. Maybe we can try to somehow finagle and make our way in with our kids. I literally sat back and watched the devil use communities to try to even do this to me. I'm a survivor of sundown town type abuse. The only way you can say that's not true is if you were actually from there. If you in a town that you're from, that's why that's really unheard of. It's heard of, like crimes happen in regular communities, but it's unheard of for people to target you just because of that. You're usually new to a place when you're a target. So I think with me, they assume like she got so much influence and so much impact and so many platforms. It doesn't matter how we treat her in the community. Why would you think that? Who I am on the internet and who I am in the community is two different things. It's the same at the same time because I'm the same person. But no, if I live in any community, I want to feel a part of that community. And if I'm being made to not feel that way, you cannot be mad at me or say, oh, that person's standoffish. It's like, make your mind up. When a person is being welcoming and inviting, because I can leave a community at any given time, I really can. And the thing about it, it's like most times when I'm gone and I had that type of experience, you will never see me in that community again, bro. Because, like, I mean, why would I return? Why would I return? Not for a football game, not for a vacation, a tour. Once I leave, that's it. And you just remember the experience you had when you were there. You remember that you were a black woman. You had children. You had things that you were trying to get done. And every time you move, did I mention that part? It's costly. Just looking at those in-between factors that are still contributing to homeless crisis. I'm seeing them sit here, throw away tents, talking about they giving people tickets, sending military police out for the homeless. And it's almost like you can smell where it's coming from. But you're talking about we're making America great again. Making America great again is bringing down prices to what they used to look like too. Back in the day, it was unheard of a person paying $1,000 of rent. They said back then you could pay $300 for. Times was way different. You might have $400 a month mortgage. Even the total prices of a home back then were different. But it shows on that TV show I was talking about how even when they were at home, they were a black family. It was a father, a mother, and two daughters, y'all. So we're not even just talking about a single parent home. It was like a full family. The father had a job because most of them did back then. It was more of a community back then, and it's sad. Even though there was more sense of community in communities in the earlier 1900s, you still have people that suffer from discrimination. Or, and back then it was easier. They do a few tactics and that person is out of town. But what has it cost families for generations for you to just up and displace them because you don't like the color of their skin or how they earn their money? It's weird. I'll be right back, guys. I had to put my daughter's device on the charger. I'll be right back. I believe sundown towns at the end of the day, it's like it's one thing to suffer jealousy or envy from one person in a community, but when you have a whole community that can't accept like a person rising, which is the goal. They say they don't want homeless people on the street, but if they even see somebody rising, they come work as a community to try to stop it. Like, make that make sense. Okay? I'm going to repeat what I said because people need to dig deep inside and think about it. Come on, Mama. Right. Like, you can't say you're tired of seeing homeless people on the streets, right? Because in most sundown towns, you don't even see that. Everybody's been living in the same house, going to the same schools, working at the same jobs. That's what makes sundown towns kind of creepy to me. The actual lack of transparency, the lack of need for change. Like, that's what's annoying about those type of places. But those be the same type of places first in line to vote, talking about, yeah, we want poor people off the streets and gang violence to stop, but there's not even gang violence in their sundown towns. They still feel like they have so much room to talk about politics. It's like sundown towns shouldn't even be allowed to vote anymore, bro. If they're going to be allowed to carry on that way, their voters' rights need to be revoked. You don't even respect the new American era. New as in the new stipulations that are in the Constitution. You don't respect them. A person can't move to your town and thrive without somebody feeling uncomfortable, jealous, or wanting to take the credit for that person rising in your town. Because let's remember, a person that's talented or skilled, no matter where you put them, wouldn't they be talented and skilled? This is getting deep, y'all. Actually, I'm finna come back with a part two. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button as well. I'm gonna come back with part two on the same topic. For those that might just be getting off work and stuff like that, they couldn't tune in with us a second ago. I'm finna come back with a part two. Thank you.